Coral reefs are a component of a diverse ecosystem that comprise of a collection of intertwined biological communities. Corals themselves are small, sessile animals that in their colonies secrete calcium carbonate deposits that build up a hard coral shell, whereby, over time, the size of the structure increases to develop reefs. Coral reefs form natural barriers that protect nearby shorelines from ocean wave erosion, which in turn offers protection for coastal towns, agricultural land, and beaches. Coastal protection is especially important in the coming future as climate changes resulting in rising sea levels and increased frequency of storm surges. In the Caribbean, coral reefs are significant as they help to protect flourishing capital cities located along coastlines of most of these islands. This study will be concentrated on the Buccoo Reef in Tobago, which is particularly crucial to the biodiversity of the province, as well as for the protection of low-lying, developed portions of the island's shoreline from erosion and storm damage. The reefs are also essential for the continued generation of revenue via ecotourism for Tobago, as the island has high tourism potential.
The aim of this project is to illustrate the significant roles played by coral reefs in protecting and preserving the coastal zone and marine biodiversity, as well as its economic value to society. Also, to increase awareness of the human impacts inflicted upon the coral reef's ecosystem. Furthermore, to assess the possible measures to mitigate or reduce the human impact to coral reef destruction.
Nursery for fish that have commercial value. There's the ecotourism aspect as well, where people visit in glass bottom boats. Tobago might be something in the order of about 50 million US dollars. And if you look at that as a percent of essentially the GDP of Tobago, it's a substantial percentage. Okay? Without these numbers, it's something that people already regarded as a free service provided by the environment. It's not really worth anything. But livelihoods that depend on it, the tourboat operators. The damage occurs from pollution. For decades, there had been a non-functioning sewage plant in Buccoo, so it emptied into the Bonacord Lagoon, and then the glass bottom boat operators allow the tourists to jump off the boat and sometimes in areas with live coral and crunch up the coral under their feet. And really, in spite of the complaints about this over decades, they seem to regard this as an attraction. That you could do this.
The IMA itself isn't the managing authority for the Buccoo Reef or the Buccoo Reef protected area. It's actually the Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries. That said, we work closely with the Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries to aid them to make the best decisions that they can in the managing of the park. There's also a Buccoo Reef Management Committee with which we also sit on, which also assists the managers with the Department of Resources and Fisheries in the implementation of management. Yes, we've been doing that quite well for a lot of years. Several posters, several flyers. Every year we're part of a program in Tobago. We have a roving program in Tobago where we go about promoting general conservation with a specific focus on marine, and the Buccoo area being a national icon for Tobago. So we go about promoting that, do's and don'ts on the reef, seagrasses, mangroves. We also have a C&E program where we do a lot of work within the schools as well. So we work with both schools, adults, and professionals. The professionals in terms of management and government. The general public in terms of various workshops for just public education and awareness work that we will be doing generally, and then within the schools through the C&E program. So there are quite a few brochures, posters, booklets, videos on the internet, Facebook, materials.
Although it is supposedly a marine protected area, the only one according to law in Trinidad and Tobago, there is no visible protection. In fact, what you might call coastal degradation. It's just the pollution and the weight of people, killing off coral by, walking on it, by all kinds of, blasting out coral to build marinas because, you know, some hotel or something rich yacht owners see some place safely. So the Tobago House of Assembly has decided and hired a contractor to remove seagrass from the nylon pool. Because people use a nylon pool, they should be able to get out the boats and walk on the sand, and it has too much seagrass. But the seagrass is growing well because of the high nutrient load, which is, from my point of view, is pollution, really.
I thought it was beautiful, but not as colorful as some places that I've seen around the island.
13 sites around Tobago in terms of research, right? Looking at different parameters, sedimentation, nutrients, the growth of corals, and so forth. In addition to that, we have done studies on coral bleaching. So we have done calling or collaborated with coral key conservation and done a study into the extent mooring buoys on the reef. If you go to the reef, you'll see moorings that the boat will tie off on. Complementary to the mooring buoys, we have done education programs with the reef store operators in collaboration with tourism. You know, training them in terms of the biology and functions of coral reef, as well as teaching about conserving, you know, the importance of conserving. So that's what kind of put a stop to the reef walking, you know, they still allow for visitors to come out with plastic shoes and whatever, you know. In collaboration with the World Resource Institute, we have done a valuation exercise. So whatever method they use, they will come with an economic value of the reef. In other words, if the reef wouldn't care, what would it stand to lose? Right? It was a significant contribution when you check. And they don't even look at all the areas. The areas they look at all the fisheries in terms of reef-related recreation and in terms of its coastal, its value to coastal protection, protecting the coast from erosion and so forth.
Right now is the water quality. You have a lot of surface water running off from the mainland into the ocean, which directly flows over the seagrasses and mangroves. It's only logical though, because you have most of the population that lives on the coastline of the island. So without proper systems in place to treat with domestic waste, everything naturally flows into the ocean, which in turn affects the environment. So that's probably the most difficult thing that we're treating with right now. It's not to say that it's being ignored. It's just very hard. I don't think enough can ever be done because it's such a dynamic system, and all the threats are integrated as well. You know, you can't just address one by itself. You know, they interact synergistically. You know, and then when you couple climate change impacts onto that, which further exacerbates this situation. You know, so it's like treating with 10 different things at the same time. Sometimes you may have more success treating with one and the other two spike, and vice versa. So it's an organic process, and we're just treating. Well, I think it's fairly obvious, but those conservation methods should have been put in since yesterday. Right, because the fact that we're treating with these problems now means that, well, they would have started sometime in the past, so that's probably when we should have tried to address these things. We're pretty much doing damage control right now. But the short answer would be, if we don't implement anything right now, chances are we're going to exacerbate the downward trajectory that we're seeing right now in terms of reef quality. So those same benefits that Tobago derives from the various goods and services, whether it's fisheries, tourism, shoreline protection, ecological integrity, carbon sequestration and storage, habitat quality, aesthetics, sands, beach, nutrient cycling, can expect there to be a definite downward trajectory in terms of those services, business services being provided to the people.
Because the race would ultimately die. Right. Slowly but surely, like the more people go and abuse it.
At the end of the day, there's very little that any one person can do, realistically. This is one of those things where it requires group effort. It requires a paradigm shift in terms of the way that you think and operate and how you utilize your resource. So probably you guys, through continued education and awareness of others, if you're able to influence those who have the power to influence decisions, right? If you have that ability to influence decisions,